Why does the black man serve the white man? Why does everything the black man do benefit the white man? Why does the black man say freedom is doing what I want to do? And why is it that everything he wants to do enriches the European?
Welcome to the desert of the real.
Where's my brother Holip? Holip, what's going on tonight, brother? How you doing, man?
I'm good. What's up?
Hey, man.
Yeah, I was just thinking because we've touched on this topic before. Mm-hmm. What the thing that's annoying to me is how the people that's in power or positions of power have convinced everybody else that the rules that they want to enforce on everybody else does not apply to them. And that's the thing that I find really annoying. It's like people want to question the salaries of the workers, but the salaries, not even the salaries, the money that the owners work is unquestioned. Nobody questions it. Nobody puts any limits on it. Nobody says, "Oh, well, you aren't you making too much money?" Nobody ever says that. I've never heard that in one discussion about this.
That's right.
Every time this topic is raised, and when you hear it discussed on television, mainstream TV, nobody questions the money of the owners.
Right.
Like I've heard people like just to go outside of just that dynamic, and let's look at it on a national level. There's people who don't feel that there should be a living wage in this country. Because this is why they say, well, these are, if you pay people, a living wage, and it doesn't incentivize them to work. I'm like, so then how come that don't apply to your ass?
That's exactly what I want to know.
Right. You can make money, like you can get, as an owner or a manager or a CEO, you can get bonuses even if your company doesn't do shit. How come that doesn't decentivize you?
Right. Yep.
Because you're always trying to apply shit to other people, but you never apply those same rules to yourself. And that's the thing that makes the conversation really annoying to me.
Yeah,
right.
I hear you.
If everybody's getting paid off the NCAA, it's like we're actually having a fucking discussion about whether the guys on the court should be making money. This is a conversation? But everybody's lining their pockets up and making money off of them.
Yep, except for the smart kid who says, you know what, fuck that. I'm getting a piece of this pie too. Y'all got to get my mother a house. I need a fat whip, and I need 6 figures right now. Else I'm going to this is
why I mentioned the R last night, and I had to be vocal about my disagreement with him. Who gives a fuck if the kid is a bust in the NBA? Who gives a fuck if he leaves early? These kids come from not all of them, of course. These kids come from single parent homes sometimes. These kids are poor. These kids are broke. Why am I? You know what? It's funny, and I always make the half joke that if my sons are ever successful in basketball, talented in basketball, if Calipari's still coaching, they're going to him because he's the only coach. Now you see, Coach K finally got on board with this 3 years ago. He's the only guy that says, you know what? I'm gonna make sure the kid get a house. Make sure his game is NBA worthy. I'm gonna make sure they get there.
I know Holip wanted to say something. Go ahead, brother.
Yeah, I was gonna say, that just backs up the point that I was making. It's like, how many times have you heard this? That the team, the coach is a part of the team. Have you heard that?
Yeah.
Yep.
How come that don't apply when it comes to college?
The CEO, he's the CEO of the team.
How can a coach get $1 million contract, but then we're having a discussion about whether the players should get paid or not?
Right.
It just goes back to the same contradiction, like I said. And in terms of that whole 20 years, I'm a big proponent of term limits. I've been having discussions with Negroes about this concept for a long, long time, because term limits to me means that the ultimate goal is the system itself. the maintenance of it, for it to maintain itself. The ultimate goal is not for some nigga to be sitting up like he's King T'Challa of the NAACP. Where you just there for lifetime position forever. That means that it's not about the institution, it's about you.
And it's about safeguarding the bullshit.
When you have term limits, what that does is, if you know that your time is short, it's sort of like, life on Earth. It's like if you know that you have a limited amount of time, then you do what you can with it.
Yep.
Try to make the most of it. And it's the same thing with political positions and organizational positions and stuff. If you know that you have a limit on your term, then what they concentrate on is how to bring somebody else in to do the job that you did when you're gone. Right. And it keeps everybody educated, keeps the system going, maintains the integrity of the institution. So whenever you see people fighting against term limits, it's because they only care about them goddamn selves. That's all. It's nothing to do with anything but that.
Right.
We're in love with the idea of being a king or being the top dog. Like I had not an argument, but I had a back and forth with a brother, and he was surprised by my attitude about it. He was like, "Yo, yeah," and I always say this, laughingly. But black people, we have in our head, like, when we want, and I understand why you want prideful. We were kings and queens. No, there were kings and queens. Not every person in Africa was a king or a queen.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? There's nothing about life in 2018 that I say to myself, unless it's going to be me, I want to live under the rule of a king or a queen. Because you know why? Because a king or a queen, he'll either be a piece of shit that won't go nowhere, or their children will be pieces of shit that will go nowhere.
Right.
And this is the same thing with what's supposed to be democracy, the NCAA or business, the President of the United States, or whatever you want to call it. You should not want anybody in power forever. You shouldn't want that.
That's a bad system.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with democracy. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with the idea of democracy. Like, you know what I'm saying? There's nothing wrong with the idea. Now, it could be corrupted, of course. Anything could be corrupted. But the idea of different ideas and different leadership and different, ideologies and working for a common goal, that should be embraced by everybody. Mark Emmert shouldn't be in charge of the NCAA for 25 years.
No.
It shouldn't be like that.
And the previous guy was there 30 years or something like some astronomical number like that.
That's those people that want to live off the people, but at the same, it's like a politician talking about handouts and entitlement. Really? You're a fucking politician.
Yeah.
Your whole existence is based on a handout and an entitlement. Yeah, now all of a sudden you got a problem with it?
Yeah.
So it's okay. It's okay for you to have universal health care, but you don't want your constituency to have it.
Yeah.
No.
Or the people.
I got mine. Fuck everybody else.
This is the only place where this discussion is taking place. You'll realize this.
Right.
For sure. You already know.
Because if you go, you listen to any mainstream this and that and whatever, all of these bullshit shows, nobody, it's almost as if they're given a memo, do not talk about the owners.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
We can dance all around this discussion and talk about this and that and college education. First of all, pay me and I'll pay for my college education, like everybody else in that school. Because everybody in that school ain't an athlete.
That's right.
Yep.
So pay me my money and I'll pay you for your education. Don't give me shit. Because we all know that we've been on this earth for a while and nothing in life is free.
Nope.
Or don't tell me.
Don't make it seem as if you doing me a favor by me going to your school. I'm doing you a favor. That's the reason why y'all go through all of these means and do all this backhanded, underhanded stuff to get me to sign.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
So let's come on, man. These guys, when you can pay, it's nothing bothers me. And by working in accounting, like most of my life, I worked in accounting departments. I understand how the structure of companies work. And for a company to say, well, we're going to cut salaries because it's affecting our bottom line, is a goddamn lie, no matter how you slice it. Because salaries, worker salaries is a part of your operating expenses. It has nothing to do with profits.
Right.
So for you to say, oh, well, we got to cut the salaries because we ain't making enough money, you're lying. And nobody ever calls them on it.
That's right.
Because they just want more fucking money and just fuck everybody else. That's what it boils down to.
Yep.
That's 100% correct.
And nobody questions it. You could just make money on top of, like this guy Jeff Bezos of Amazon. What is he worth? $100 billion?
That's ridiculous.
$100 billion?
And climbing. And climbing.
You tell me why one, and then this motherfucker, he gets on Twitter saying how he's asking people for suggestions on how he can spend his money. Like he wants to do, what do they call it? The why am I drawing a blank on this term? When rich people do philanthropic, I think, work.
Philanthropy.
Philanthropy, yeah. And one guy posted and said, well, why don't you pay your fucking workers a living wage? How about that?
How about that? Yeah, how about that? Exactly. Try that out.
Well, you think you don't think you need $200 billion in order to do that?
I look at the moves.
These guys got some balls, man.
Look at the moves in recent months that Bezos and Amazon has been making. Right? They now have a streaming service, Amazon Prime. We can watch. They have you can watch movies and shows. They also start making their own content. They have a Lord of the Rings show coming out, and it's filming for $500 million. They bought Whole Foods. Whole Foods prices went down. They had to open a different brand of Whole Foods where it's the regular Whole Food prices, and then they have a cheaper one in the delivery service, right? Then they bought, a security system, a security service that Nas was a part of in the investors. They bought that for some money. If I had to guess, and I was talking to my wife about this a few days ago, if I had to guess what Amazon will probably try to do now, I think they'll probably try to get their own messaging service. Right now, they use FedEx, and they use UPS, and now they use LaserShip, which is ironic because they're cheap. And if you know anything about LaserShip, they're a piece of shit company. But lately, I got a lot of packages from Amazon right from LaserShip. Sometimes I don't get my shit. And if you go, they were doing it with the post office. It was never them. It was with the post office. But it'd be like Amazon delivery, but it'd be postal workers.
Okay.
You know what's funny? What's funny to me is, and y'all tell me if you disagree with this. I don't think that rich people have been around since people have been rich. Nobody seems the general public doesn't seem to have an issue with rich people because they always try to make it like that's the narrative. Oh, like people mad at Jeff Bezos because he's making a lot of money. Nobody gives a fuck whether if a guy owns a company and he makes a lot of money, more power to him. No, I don't think anybody questions that. What we're questioning is, why does one motherfucker have $100 billion and we're having a discussion over whether people should work and live?
Right.
That's what the problem is. It's like you're not spreading the wealth.
No. Exactly.
This is Walmart.
If Walmart or Amazon were to make their workers be a part of their overall profit, they would be praising those companies.
Right.
Yep.
Nobody will have an issue with them because they're making money. The problem is you hoarding money and you want everybody else to fucking starve.
Greedy as fuck.
There you go.
Like, how is it? You talk about a level of evil. I'm going to ask everybody on this phone. If you made $100 billion a year, what type of person would you be if you're sleeping in your bed and you tossing and turning because Rodney is able to take a vacation? That makes you toss and turn. Oh, this guy can eat. He can live. I can't take this. And you make it $100 billion?
Fuck out of here with that bullshit.
You want a tax fucking cut? You want a tax cut, nigga? And you making $100 billion? And yet everybody else on this phone, you get mad because they want to have. Most people want this in their life. They want to have a house or a nice apartment, someplace to stay that's theirs, a car, and the ability to go on a vacation twice a year.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
That's what most people modestly want that. Mm. Do you know that there's enough money being made where that can be done without even a fucking problem?
Right.
Mm-hmm. Everybody realizes, it's like when we go on vacation, you go on vacation, you at a hotel. Is everybody going to get the penthouse?
No. And
don't we all acknowledge that? It's like, no, I know that I ain't going to be in the fucking fancy suite, but at least I'm in a hotel. I got a nice, comfortable room.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm not going to go and beat the dude up because he's in the penthouse. If anything, I give him props. Like, yo, that must be really nice. Nobody gives a fuck.
Try to get invite.
Nobody gives a fuck. Nobody's hating on rich people.
Right.
But the problem is, rich people, and see, this is why motherfuckers better study the French Revolution. If you're a rich person and you haven't studied the French Revolution, you are really putting your ass out there. Because if you have any type of intelligence whatsoever, you will realize that it's safer for you when the general populace is eating.
Right.
Because when they don't eat, then there's problems.
Chaos.
And then problems means you lose your damn head.
Exactly. If you think that your ivory tower is going to protect you from those streets, you better do some history reading. You better go back and look through what happened in the course of time. Because no matter how rich you were, you can get pulled out in these streets and stomped out like a dog.
It was war they